Okay, so today we're going to be testing another myth around abilities in Madden Ultimate Team. You know, I gotta be honest, this year's Madden has been filled with so much misinformation and disinformation that it's really hard to get an idea of what you should stack your players with, and that's why this channel exists. So if you guys enjoyed this type of content, make sure you're subscribed right here to the channel, hit that notification bell. Today we're gonna be talking about roaming Deadeye. Now this is an ability that if you played Madden for a long time, go back a couple years ago, there was a glitch, quote unquote, with the roaming Deadeye. You'll see here that from a game perspective, here is what it says. Perfect pass accuracy while standing outside the pocket. A lot of players would actually prefer to utilize an ability such as the dashing Deadeye, which is perfect pass accuracy on the run up to 40 yards. And if you recall, a couple years ago, players would just run around with dashing Deadeye and make all kinds of crazy throws on the run. The AP system in that game made dashing Deadeye more expensive than roaming Deadeye, but there was a glitch that we used to do where we would release the right trigger while running outside the pocket to trick the game into thinking that the quarterback is running. But here's where this becomes a little fuzzy because players are confused this year as to whether or not roaming Deadeye truly is something that requires you release the trigger. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take you over and I'm gonna show you guys the coding that is kind of baked into this ability. So here we are looking at this ability, roaming Deadeye. Again, it says, description on this says, passers with this ability have perfect accuracy on all unpressured throws while their feet are set outside the pocket. This excludes high throws and low throws. But when we look at activation conditions, this one is really interesting because you'll note that it says on the run. This condition activates when the player is on the run. Well, if we were to go back to the gameplay, it says standing outside the pocket. So it doesn't make sense that this ability is activated while on the run, but the description says he must be standing outside the pocket. So let's hit the practice field. Now, while we load into practice mode, let me give you a little bit of reasoning for why I'm testing this out. There are golden ticket items, for instance, Mike Vick, that are being pretty lauded as the best in the game. Or there are players that are more so run and gun focused, looking at the Joe Milton or the Randall Cunningham items. If you've used run and gun, and I just did a video last week on this ability, you guys know what it brings to the table. It's quite powerful. But if you haven't used run and gun, you're probably looking for the best Deadeye stacks to make your quarterback feel like he can make any throw on the run. And that's why we're doing this video, is for players that don't utilize baked on run and gun X factors, or maybe play cash games that ban X factors as passive abilities. So what we're gonna do here to kind of illustrate whether or not roaming Deadeye works is we're going to use my tried and true on the run crossbody test. This is where I'm going to set up a cover 3 one play touchdown, and I'm going to roll away from the side of the field that I'm throwing to, and we're going to test whether or not we need to be sprinting, meaning holding the right trigger, or whether we should release the right trigger while running outside the pocket to get an accurate throw. So what I'm going to do here is we're going to set up this rollout. Let's do the right trigger hold. So on all these throws, I'm going to hold the sprint button and we are going to throw across the field and see if it is Deadeye. We are looking for one of two colors. We're looking for light green or blue. And you see right here, that was a perfect throw. Now, the other thing that we have to mention with this is that no matter what type of throw you are making, if you are good at your pass meter, that little arc that fills up, if you release it within the accuracy window, sometimes you don't need abilities to make this work. Deadeyes are kind of there to help you make those throws easier. So that way, if you don't hit those windows, you'll notice that if you have no abilities at all, sometimes the area that you have to release the button in is smaller and you get penalized for being too early or too late when you release the icon of the receiver you're throwing to. That is why people will utilize Deadeyes, myself included. Also, we have so much AP in the game that, like, why wouldn't you? So you see right there, this was another right trigger throw. Now, the thing about Randall Cunningham is you might say, well, hey, Zan, this was a pressure inaccurate. You'll see here that we were rolling out and this player shed and was able to apply a pressure penalty. That would make a lot of sense, except for the fact that specifically for this test, I have left Gutsy Scrambler on Randall Cunningham, and you'll see that it says that he is immune to defensive pressure while running outside the pocket. So It basically cannot be an inaccurate for any other reason than holding the right trigger while on the run. I'm going to run a few more of these here just to kind of show you guys that, again, we're holding the right trigger, and I'm gonna make this throw right there. That was not the correct shade of green. We made an accurate throw, but that was not considered a Deadeye throw. Again, it's that light green. That first throw we had is perfect accuracy. And then the blue throws are the Deadeye throws. That is a completely different shade. There's like a very light, almost Carolina blue. That is Deadeye. You're looking for either the light green or the light blue. You see right here, this is another green, and you see the ball didn't go exactly to where I aimed. So it appears that when we're holding the right trigger outside the pocket, this is deactivating the potential for roaming Deadeye. But let's go back to the old roaming Deadeye style from a couple of years ago. Now what we're gonna do is we are going to release the trigger before we press the icon to throw. So that way the game thinks, okay, the quarterback isn't sprinting anymore. So when we do this, we're rolling out. I'm going to, right before I press Y, release and throw this. And you see right there that this was actually that kind of other shade of green. It wasn't perfect. So, you know, are we really getting Deadeye value here out of this? Or do we need to try to get our quarterback set a little bit? So again here, see right there, I released the trigger on a whip. I didn't have the ability to turn my quarterback. I released the trigger and through the check down, it was considered a perfect throw. Again, you guys will notice that not every Deadeye throw is going to end up light blue. Sometimes you'll get that absolutely perfect light green. That's been a thing for a couple of years that players don't talk about. But again, here, I'm going to release this. You see right here that this was inaccurate. Completely inaccurate. So what we're getting to here is that they actually have coded this ability in a way that it honestly appears like you need to completely set your feet now. So what you're going to see is I'm going to need to get my feet set before I throw, and then we're going to get that light blue Deadeye. So obviously this is something that doesn't necessarily help you so much on the run as people would think. It doesn't work with the trigger method, and it doesn't work with the hold trigger method like some people have been talking about as well. So let's go back to our roster page and build a different stack. And while we do that, make sure you guys open up another tab and check out my strategy website, gridirongameplans.gg, the best place to get better at Madden. Yes, even into the summer months, we are still labbing, taking advantage of that extra AP values, staying on top of changing trends. Yes, blitz setups change as APs change, and that trickles down into every style of the game that you play, whether it's MUT, CFM, regs. You're going to face the blitz tactics that players are using, and you guys are going to need to know how to counter those things. We talk about that in our vault. That is a weekly updated service for you guys. We're giving you 4+ tips every single week focused on what players are doing and how to counter it. You guys get all offensive and defensive game plans, no paying for individual game plans on Gridiron. And you guys get access to our Discord where we have lab sessions in there. So make sure you guys go check it out. Join the over 3,000 members in our Discord. It's a great community. So roaming Deadeye, we know that we basically have to be flat-footed. You're not really going to have so many opportunities to run all the way out to the sideline, set your feet, bake a pie, and then throw a ball Deadeye. It's just not really getting any value for you. But what about maybe stacking this with some sort of other ability? We already know that run and gun is going to hit every single throw for you. But again, I'm trying to do this video for those of you that aren't run and gun players. If you guys want to make any throw on the run, regardless, honestly, you'll just hold the right trigger and make every throw with this ability. If you can't, we got to figure out something else. I want to take you back to an older video that we did involving a different item. As you guys might recall, we did a video on Anthony Richardson and his Easter item, the Sugar Rush promo. He is one of the only cards in the game that is mobile and gets that inside Deadeye plus sideline Deadeye. So I'm going to pull him up in the catalog here. And the way that we built him, on top of having tank and trust so he doesn't really fumble, you guys will have the ability to go in and choose inside Deadeye in one of those Sugar Rush buckets. They give you a special bucket where you can equip inside Deadeye. And then you'll go back into his other buckets and you will choose the sideline Deadeye. Normally on every other card in the game, they will give you a choice of either inside or sideline, and then that's it. And then the other thing that you get is basically pocket Deadeye. But let's say that you don't want to use Anthony Richardson and you're looking for a quarterback stack that allows you to maybe have some of the newer abilities or X factors on a golden ticket, such as Vic, and you want to still make crazy good throws while on the run outside the pocket. Well, I've got something for you here, and we are going to combine a couple of things. Now, we're not going to get everything here, but we're going to get most things. So what we're going to do is we are going to equip Pocket Deadeye in one of our buckets. This is going to give us every throw clean from the pocket. Perfect ability. I mean, you're going to hit whips, you're going to hit corners, you're going to hit out routes, you're going to hit everything blue from the pocket, unless under pressure from the middle. We just did a video yesterday that says that pressure and accurates don't exist in the pocket at all, really. So you're not going to have to worry about that. But then we're going to need to make sure that we are stacking a different ability on top of pocket. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove our roaming Deadeye that we've already debunked as not being effective. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go and I'm going to add long range Deadeye. The reason I want to add long range Deadeye is that this is perfect pass accuracy on all deep throws. So this is a really, really solid ability, because what it's going to do is this is going to give us more conditions where we can hit these deeper throws, even if they're kind of a little bit across the field from us. So again, let's go ahead and compare how these abilities stack against each other. We've already kind of debunked roaming Deadeye as something we don't really value, but this is the cool thing right here. Remember the on the run condition that we were really confused about, and we figured out it really doesn't matter? That's something that's bugging up this roaming Deadeye in my estimation. You'll notice here that long range Deadeye doesn't care whether you're on the run or not. This is not a requirement to activate. The only requirement on this is whether or not the receiver is 40 yards from the quarterback. This does not mean 40 yards downfield. This means 40 yards from where the quarterback is throwing the football to where the ball is landing. Now, the cool thing about this as well is that this doesn't have really any crazy deactivation requirements. You'll see here that this is going to basically allow you to make any throw inside or outside the pocket. And you're going to see here that the only real things you can't do are take pressure while on the run or use the high ball mechanic or low ball mechanic. If you guys are on classic, you can throw low balls. You'll see right here that it says on the run. This condition activates when the quarterback is on the run or moving outside the pocket while attempting to throw the ball. So this one is a little fuzzy. Remember, this says deactivation. It says with long range Deadeye that this condition activates when the quarterback is on the run or moving outside the pocket while attempting to throw the football. So with this particular ability, we are going to need to make sure that we are testing effectively the right trigger's impact on this stack. So let's go ahead now and take the field once again with Randall Cunningham testing the long range Deadeye. Now, the reason while we're loading back in that I would choose long range Deadeye is that we're using these for rollout bombs. We're throwing deep corner routes, across the field post routes, over the top fades and streaks while moving. This is not going to give you guaranteed Deadeye accuracy on those crossbody throws to the short and middle of the field. It's not going to give you Deadeye throws on the run to a whip route that might be kind of in your line of sight as a check down option. For those throws, you will have to hit your accuracy bar, as I mentioned just a few minutes back. But you will likely notice, once we figure out the right trigger combo for this, what we need to be doing to hit this throw consistently. So we've set up our rollout bomb here. And with the ultimate weapon, we are going to try to get our long range Deadeye to work, starting first with the right trigger. Right there, we got green. The ball went exactly where we aimed it, not Deadeye though. Let's do a few more of these and then see if we can improve the color of this throw. So again, holding the right trigger, I'm going to try to throw this back across just a regular green. I mean, the result is fine. I'm not upset with the result, but it's not quite the shade of green we're looking for. So let's do a couple more here and then we'll start releasing the right trigger. So again, I'm rolling out. I'm going to try to throw this back across the field. Right there, you saw just a straight up inaccurate ball. Okay, I was holding the right trigger and they punished me for that. Again, I have Gutsy Scrambler, so we are not taking pressure and accuracy from a shedding player. That was just a straight up inaccurate football on the run holding the right trigger. So because we immediately see that we got the red, which is balls inaccurate, we know that the Deadeye ability is not working, because when you have a Deadeye active, inaccurates are not in that potential outcome bucket. So now let's start releasing the right trigger to see if there's any value to this. We're gonna basically roll out, release the right trigger, and throw this up, and boom, immediately we see the light green color start to come into play. Now, again, we're looking for light green or light blue. Either of those are the absolute perfect accuracy that you're looking for. Let's try a few more. Rolling out, I'm going to release the right trigger, light green once again. The ball is up, it's in stride. We don't get clunky catch animations. We're looking pretty good here with this. Now, again, what is the requirement for this? It means that the quarterback must be 40 yards away from where the catch point is for this to be a Deadeye. And this is not going to be an issue with a throw like this. Now, of course, if I were to try to maybe like do a crazy rollout, this is not going to be, let's see here. I'm going to go arm side with like a super deep one here and then a stem down. So I'm going to try to hit a blue here if I can. We're going to go arm side here. Again, this throw would also constitute a 40-yard plus throw. Now that one right there wasn't quite the green that we were looking for while we're releasing the trigger, but we didn't see that light shade of green until we started releasing the right trigger. So we're definitely on the right path as it pertains what ability you should use. Now, again, if you don't like this outcome and you want the stack that is going to give you blues on every throw or light greens on every throw, it is certifiably sideline and inside Deadeye. The only requirements that they care is that the receiver is inside the numbers or outside the numbers when you stack those two together. I understand that's harder to accomplish. If you guys want to make every throw no matter what, it's run and gun. But in a case where you have to choose something, your quarterback is not, run and gun, or it doesn't have those abilities, I would probably go with a pocket Deadeye, long range Deadeye, to just make sure that you're gonna be able to make those crossbody throws or those rollout arm side super bombs, because the receiver is 40 yards away. Just remember to release the right trigger, and you guys got something cooking with your quarterbacks. So you don't have to go pay for the 3 million coin quarterback. You can build a damn good quarterback at budget value. And I hope this video helped you guys out. I'm gonna get up out of here. We'll see you this afternoon. Until then, this is Ann. Get in the lab and good luck.